Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Iran crosses the line by attacking Trump with a cluster bomb and turns the sky over Bahrain into yet another direct front against the United States. In the early hours of July 15, 2026 videos posted during a new wave of missiles showed a warhead apparently opening in the air and scattering several bright spots over Bahraini territory. Pattern consistent with cluster munitions. Action. Open source analysts pointed to a possible Iranian Khorramshahr missile, while the regime claimed to be targeting depots, hangars, and structures used by American forces. The warning is serious because Bahrain hosts the US Fifth Fleet and has military facilities close to urban areas. The attack came alongside offensives against Kuwait and Jordan in an attempt to target the network that supports Washington's presence in the region.
Amen. Good night.
Donald Trump responded by gathering his team in the Situation Room and preparing a larger offensive with a public threat against power plants and bridges if Tehran continues to refuse an agreement. The Iranian regime is trying to target Donald Trump through the bases, the allies, and the population living around them. The offensive reached Bahrain as the United States resumed the naval blockade against Iranian ports and expanded attacks on Iran's southern coast. The Bahraini government had already been denouncing attacks against private property and civilian infrastructure and stated that it reserves the right to respond with its partners. A military target does not eliminate the risk to civilians when the weapon spreads explosives over a wide area. The images seem to show the warhead separating while still in the sky. This is the expected behavior of a cluster munition, which releases several sub-munitions before impact. Iran has already used this type of warhead in previous attacks against Israel. Reuters reported that some Iranian warheads scatter about 24 sub-munitions, creating multiple impact points and making defense more difficult. More than 100 nations have joined the convention that bans these weapons, although Iran, the United States, and Israel are not part of the treaty. Even so, indiscriminate attacks in populated areas are prohibited by humanitarian law. The possible use of Khorramshahr increases concern. Monitoring publications stated that more than 30 missiles were launched in the largest offensive against Bahrain in this phase of the war, including Khorramshahr with fragmentation payload. The number and model have not yet been confirmed by independent authorities, but they match the regime's strategy to launch larger salvos, force multiple interceptions, and try to get part of the payload through the defense. Tehran seeks to wear down protection systems, disrupt American operations, and spread fear among nations that host United States troops. Sheikh Issa base was again central to the offensive. The Revolutionary Guard claimed attacks on weapons depots, ship parts, and other targets. Said it attacked weapons depots, ship parts, and aircraft components. In another statement, it said it targeted helicopter facilities, a P-8 aircraft hangar, and a drone command center. There was no independent confirmation of destruction on the announced scale. Bahrain is home to the Fifth Fleet, which monitors traffic in the Strait of Hormuz and supports American maritime operations. Attacking this structure is an attempt to weaken Washington's ability to monitor the strait, escort ships, and enforce the blockade against Iranian ports. Kuwait was hit in the same sequence, the Revolutionary Guard. It claimed to have set fire to and destroyed the KGL Logistics Center in Mina Abdullah during the fourth wave of Operation Nasr II. Business records place facilities linked to Halliburton inside the KGL warehouse area, a company with a history of services for American military clients. The available confirmation is far short of what Iranian propaganda claims. The Kuwaiti army reported that its defenses engaged drones, and the state agency reported a fire that was brought under control. Reuters has not confirmed the total destruction claimed by the regime. There was an attack and there was fire, but Tehran is trying to sell every impact as the complete annihilation of American logistics. Jordan was also under attack. The Iranian army claimed a drone offensive against American positions at the Muwafaq Salt Air Base in the Azraq region. The Revolutionary Guard said it targeted hangars that could house fighter jets and MQ-9 drones. Jordan confirmed that it shot down 3 Iranian missiles in this new round. Trump responded with a meeting in the Situation Room. According to Axios, Vice President J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, General Dan Kane, John Ratcliffe, Steve Witkoff, and other members of the security team were present. The meeting discussed broader attacks than the campaign focused on the Strait of Hormuz. Before the meeting, Trump told Fox News that Iran would be hit hard for 3 more days, and that in the following week, power plants and bridges would be added to the list if the regime did not return to negotiations.
Be foolish, but I'll tell you about Cargill.
And so are you ruling out a limited ground campaign?
No, I don't mean that either, but I wouldn't say it if I didn't think it was appropriate. Sometimes a ground invasion is necessary, but others will do that for us. We've already hit Cargill Island about 3 times. I ordered them to attack everything except the oil. Leave that 25-yard area untouched. Don't touch the oil so we don't affect the world economy. It's part of the global economy, so we don't hit that. At some point we could, but I think it's unlikely. To take that, if we weaken them enough and push them back far enough, I would do it.
Do you foresee it?
The White House did not comment on the content of the meeting, but the threat was made publicly by the president. There is an immediate reason for the U.S. pressure. Central Command stated that Iran attacked 7 commercial ships in 1 week, leaving nearly a dozen crew members dead, missing, or injured. Even under threat, the United States coordinated the passage of 300 ships through the strait, according to officials cited by Axios. Reuters also reported that 2 oil tankers were hit by Iranian cruise missiles, with 1 Indian crew member killed and others injured. Trump also refused to completely rule out a ground campaign, although he suggested that the operation could be carried out by other forces. The immediate path continues to be a combination of military pressure and negotiation, reducing Iran's attack capabilities, keeping the strait open, and forcing Tehran to accept limits on its nuclear program and its regional actions. The message delivered to the negotiators was that an agreement needs to be reached before the list of targets grows. The threat against plants and bridges sets a serious limit. Infrastructure used directly for military purposes can be targeted under certain conditions, but facilities essential to civilian life receive special protection. Reuters highlighted this issue when reporting Trump's statement. The response to the regime needs to target the machinery that orders and supplies the attacks, without repeating the Iranian logic of spreading risk to civilians. Washington's strength will be in destroying military capability, protecting navigation, and keeping Bahrain, Kuwait, and Jordan out of reach of new indiscriminate salvos. Bahrain remains on alert, Kuwait is assessing the damage in Mina Abdullah, and Jordan is strengthening its defenses. Tehran maintains Operation Nasser II while the American blockade continues. The regime has tried to prove that it can still reach the United States military network. It ended up giving Trump the strongest argument to expand the campaign against the centers that command and supply these attacks. Thank you very much for watching this video until the end. Support our project and contribute financially through the Pix key that appears on your screen. We are an independent channel focused on telling you the truth and keeping you informed. Your contribution helps us keep going.